Ooh, I tell her get low, gon' rock with me. You gon' mess around now and get a shopping spree. I'm now in your possession like apostrophe. Ooh, enough with all the talking, I just told her say less and do more. Do more, do more, do more. Ooh, I tell her do more, do more, do more, do more. Go ahead, set the mood right, dirty like a food fight. You been working all day, load it up in 2 nights. Do more, do more, do more, do more. Ooh, I tell her, and she gon' work that round. I'ma mess around and drown when she drop that down. No more phone be blowing up, I like not right now. Oh, I swear that she in next the way she work that mouth. Whoa, automatic cause she move, she be cousin static. I be straight up like an addict, might be coming at it. Now I gotta have it, had enough with all the moves, yeah, move here. Ooh, let me grab it now, I'm on 1 year. Now I'm not done yet, told her wait right here. I'll be back one sec, this is just time out, this is not no way. Go and grab that friend, now you know what's next stage. You been rockin' with it all-star, baby, and I know you coming early like a five-star, baby. Packing out the seat, this ain't no hostile, baby, and they know me in the city like a mob star. Ooh, I tell her get low, gon' rock with me. You gon' mess around now and get a shopping spree. I'm now in your possession like apostrophe. Ooh, enough with all the talking, I just told her say less and do more, do more, do more, do more. Ooh, I tell her do more, do more, do more, do more. Go ahead, set the mood right, dirty like a food fight. You been working all day, load it up in 2 nights. Do more, do more, do more, do more. Ooh, I tell her,
Hey, yo, Jay, can we get some ratchet one time?
Look, I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop, I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peace, you gon' see the flex when you hear these writtens. Trust me, you know the difference. I got a long ways to climb before you see a slippage. I see the process and the journey I'm supposed to be, but perplexed, cause I don't really see nobody close to me. Hopefully this ain't wasted and I know it ain't. You gotta take the time for seasoning to marinate. You need the patience under pressure just to detonate. I'm trying to blow up and these heathens need to get it straight. Gifted with a vision and precision, I'm just trying to make it high key. Might be breaking free like I was Zion in some Nikes. Tucked at the crib, bro, you know just where to find me. Making beats and spitting crack verses pretty likely. Yeah, socks with the burst, boy, I ain't changed a bit. Normal guy till I die, you know what it is. You probably thought I'd give up now that I got some kids, but really now I got these arrows aiming at your ribs. I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop, I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peas. Hey, please be on the notice, these my motives. Bought my chicken and it's rotis. You parsimonious, you take it all cause you a locust. My focus is to grow this mission. A visionary, get a dictionary. We here off the rip and we ain't sharing, we just caring. Let me speak it to the manager. We damage her, no you ain't messing with an amateur. I'm ramming, the competition ain't standing up. They fanning from left to right cause now they branded us. Now who that is? Mike Jones, they ain't want me now, they all on me. Got counterfeits trying to play me, I guess they thinking I'm Sony. These big head dummies showing up and out of their character. Homie, you need a price cause without it the squad ain't hearing you. Top of that, we ain't fearing it. We swinging for the fences with the sting of a left hook that connects with Sonny Liston. I'm dismissing any and all of the disrespect. Nonetheless, it ain't a threat, I'm just letting y'all know who's next. I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the start, I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peas, you gon' see the...
Coach, what's next for me, Joe? I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Space shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed.
I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On the road, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Mafia, we got an amazing show for you guys tonight as Bitcoin has gotten a little bit of a pop to the upside and now is testing key resistance. Can we see that bigger breakout into that $100,000 area? There are actually a few different upper targets that I want to talk about on today's live stream. We hit that $100,000 zone. We'll take a look at the volume profiles. We do have a value area high sitting closer to about $100,885. Are we going to be able to get above this key resistance and get a move into that $100,000 level? Or are we going to get that drop down to the value area low, which we still have not come down and tapped, and that is sitting a little bit closer to about $90,500. Now, before we start today's live stream, I do just want to point out, guys, I am bullish on Bitcoin. in the long term, we are going to be looking for higher prices. I am personally looking for higher prices in 2025. But if we take a look at the bearish case, don't get scared. Don't get scared, guys. We're just we're traders here, right? So we make money by the prices going up or down. We're going to show some of the trades. But as Bitcoin tests this very, very key level of resistance, I kind of want to talk to you guys about how I am handling this price action. I am holding a long position that I showed earlier today in the market update. I am now also holding a hedge short position, as well as still holding my short position from up at $106,000. So I want to break everything down for you. If we are going to see higher prices, when can we potentially expect them? We're going to break it all down on today's live stream, or tonight's live stream, I should say. But shout out to the Candle Mafia. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you guys. I hope 2025 is treating you guys well so far, even though we're only a couple days in here. But shout out to Valerie. What is going on? Welcome in. We got Tyler Durden. Shout out to Tyler Durden. Says 90,500. How dare you? Shout out to Tyler Durden. Well, hopefully we don't have to see it, but we got to bring up those levels. But yeah, maybe we'll skip that. We don't want to piss off Tyler, guys. Shout out to Tyler Durden. Thank you for being here, guys. Show some love to the mods in the chat. We got Tyler Durden. We got Rob the Crypto Snob. Darren Does Things. Crypto Billy. Crypto Anon, you guys know who they are. Show them some love in the chat right now. We got Jay Violet in the chat. Cranky Fandles, what is going on, bro? Welcome in. We got Brewski in the chat. Says Frankie, what's going on, Brewski? Welcome in, bro. Happy to see you here. We got Jesse in the chat. I will never know how to say your last name, bro. I apologize, but shout out to Jesse. He said, get the liquidity. Yeah, maybe we'll take a look at the heat maps as well. But shout out to Jesse. He's our like police, guys. So if he asks you to hit the like button, kindly oblige with him. So shout out to Jesse. Welcome in. We got ABZ in the chat. We got Eric. What is going on? Dave Digital reporting for duty says, is this thing on? Shout out to Dave Digital. Welcome in, bro. Hope you're having a great 2025. Let's see, bada boom, bada bing. We got Samuel in the chat, says 77K. We will take a look at the bearish case as well, guys. We'll take a look at some of those lower targets. We're going to update you guys on everything here. And stay tuned, guys, because I believe tomorrow I'm going to try to at least shoot, if not shoot and drop, a 2025 Bitcoin prediction video. Show you guys exactly what I'm looking at here on the charts. And if you guys remember to our last Bitcoin deep dive, which was a while ago now, we were able to call those next moves to the upside. And we looked at some higher targets, which we're literally sitting at right now when you zoom out on the higher time frame. So shout out to everybody in here. Smash that like button if you have not already. And without further ado, I promised Mrs. Candles I wouldn't do this, guys, but I have to do it. I need your honest opinion here. Before we jump into the charts, guys, as I'm in the studio, oftentimes I have my shoes off, guys. This is going to sound so random, but I need some honest opinions out here before we jump into the charts. Every time I do a live stream, guys, I have to put my socks on. I don't know what it is. If I'm barefoot, I cannot be completely barefoot. I need to have socks on at least. Is that weird? Let me know in the chat if you guys think that's weird. So I do have because I am out of socks right now. They're all dirty, so I had to put on some interesting, like, I don't even know what these are. They're like wool dress socks. You guys aren't going to be able to see them. But, yeah, let me know if you think that's weird or normal. If you had a live stream, would you have to have your socks on? Would you feel naked if you were barefoot? But anyway, that's besides the fact, guys. Let's go ahead and jump on into the charts and see if Bitcoin's going to get the drop here or if we can continue pumping. Let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Let's get into it. Oh, God. We're already starting off 2025 unhinged, guys, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Let's see. Not weird at all. I always wear socks when I stream. Shout out to because I can bump it. Yeah. See, I think Mrs. Candles thought I was weird, but I don't know. I just feel socks and panties. Yo, I knew I was going to start a riot in the chat. Normal. Okay, shout out to Jesse. So I'm not that weird. Shout out to Mrs. Candles. She comes in here. I'm going to roast her on that. Let's see. Not weird at all. I always wear socks. I have a friend that sleeps with socks on. I do sleep with my socks off. I will say that. That is something that is a little different. Tony says, no, not weird. We all have a way we like to do things. Shout out to Tony D. But anyway, guys, let's jump on into the price action here. Now, obviously, guys, we have gotten this little push to the upside here on Bitcoin. And what I want to do here is I'm actually going to start on the local time frames. We'll cover these local levels first, and then we'll go ahead and jump on into the higher time frames. And I'll talk about kind of what we're looking at here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to hide this major range just to update this with you guys. This is our major volume profile that we've been looking at. We did catch a long position down here in the premium Discord. I'll pull that trade up in just a second. But we are holding that long, right, with anticipation of getting sucked up towards that key level. Now, if you guys watched the update yesterday or even earlier today, or actually, yeah, yesterday, you will know, right, as we were holding that long position, we were anticipating to get a move into this next key level of resistance, which is really the major level that I was looking to come into was this point of control sitting at about 97,000. Let me actually get that exact level here because it moves based off the time frame you're looking at. But about $97,275, I believe, is that exact level that we were looking at. But essentially, all we were looking at was getting gravitated back in towards this POC. Remember, when you're looking at the volume profiles, guys, that POC is going to be the strongest magnet within the profile, sucking price up to it, right? And you can see, like, anytime we kind of interact with these POCs, oftentimes they do act as a magnet, right? We get a little rejection, we come down, we come back up, we kind of cling to it as if it were a magnet before finally losing it or breaking above it. So that was kind of the thought process yesterday. I'm going to bring up the local levels here. I'm going to hide that major range, pull up the local profile here, and this is what we were looking at yesterday. And very simply put, guys, I know price action is sometimes hard to get a handle on, but when you're looking at things in terms of volume profiles, there is so much money to be had on these little day trades. And very simply put, we were deviated below the volume profile, which is, you guys know it, where we like to look for those long positions, right? We look at this as an undervalued asset in the context of the recent price action, right? We have fair value here between the value area low and the value area high. Once we deviate either above or below, that is what we're looking at as either an overvalued asset or an undervalued asset. Now, we did take a short here in the premium Discord on Christmas Eve here. I actually didn't personally take it because I wasn't actively trading, but we did have the short set up to very simply look for those bearish confirmations, get accepted back into the range, go back to the POC, and then eventually back down to the value area low. And then once you wind up losing this range, this is where we look at price as an undervalued asset, and this is where we caught a nice long position. We actually looked at this on the premium live stream, I believe on Monday, waiting patiently, right? We got the bounce into that value area low. This is key resistance until proven otherwise. And if you watch this channel at all, you will know that the value area low is the doorway to higher prices, right? If we're able to get above this level, that's where you anticipate the POC and then eventually the value area high to come in. But what happened here, we got some resistance. We got that retracement into the 786 golden pocket. We took that long position and it actually wound up playing out perfectly at first, right? And then we got another little pullback here, but we did not get stopped out. We remained in that position. And what happens? We finally get accepted into this value area low. And if you guys remember to yesterday's content, this key level right here at $94,960 was the key level that we needed to break and hold on top of in order to get sucked up and gravitated to where? That point of control of the range. I'll even label these for you guys. If you're new here and you're unfamiliar with the volume profiles, check out the beginner series where I go over exactly how I trade these and how I use the volume profiles to find high probability trades, even if they're just little scalp positions. As price is bing-bonging around to the upside, to the downside, we're able to cash in while price is ranging around like this. But let me go ahead and label this real quick. We have the range value area low. We have the POC of that range. Where are we at? POC. And then you have the value area high sitting right about here, right? So you have the value area high, the POC, the value area low. Once we flip that value area low, again, the level we were looking at yesterday, this was the level we needed to break, aka the doorway to higher prices, even though this is kind of local context, not necessarily the doorway to massive higher prices, but within the context of this volume profile, this was your doorway into that $97,300 POC. And where are we sitting right now, Mafia? We are sitting right on this point of control. Now, this is a very, very important level, not only a level of resistance, but also a very key level that we need to get on top of in order to see more upside for Bitcoin, at least in the local term here. So right now, let me see if I can pull up the trades here real quick. Bada boom, bada bing. There we go. Over here on Blowfin, I am holding this position up about, what is this? So the long position up $2,400. I am now also in a hedge short position. I'm going to explain to you guys why I wound up taking this short position. This is really just a hedge against the long. This was a setup that we were looking at in the premium Discord, but it's still holding this long position up $2,400, and then the short position up a modest $273, kind of just hanging out around that entry. But I want to talk to you guys about exactly why I was looking to take this short position, because this level of resistance is not just a POC, but there's a lot of confluence there, and some of the confluence that we have on that zone could make it a high probability area to put a lower high in and continue the bigger trend to the downside. So if we pull back up the charts here, you guys can see we have the POC of the range. We also have our anchored VWAP pulled from the all-time high at about 108,000. $108,450. That anchored VWAP is pulled from the top of that candle. And you can see it did come in beautiful confluence with that point of control. On top of that, we also have a weekly naked point of control sitting up here. And if you guys remember to the recent price action, you will know these daily naked points of controls have been really, really strong support, right? Coming down here, originally back down here in December 20th, right? Getting a bounce from that daily naked point of control, getting another pullback, getting another bounce, front running it slightly, and then we held it again for a a third time down here on the 30th, and now we are just living above that level. But you can see these daily naked points of controls, guys, are typically very strong levels of support and resistance, right? This one held up great. We got the move to the upside. We got our first little rejection here on another daily naked point of control, and this is not just a naked point of control. It is a weekly naked point of control, right? Again, another level that we were looking at yesterday, making this a very significant level of resistance, right? So obviously, this is the level we want to get above. If we could flip this whole box of resistance into support, we may be able to see that push into the value area high, which is coming in locally at about $98,626. And this is very simply put the context that I am looking at locally for these shorter term trades, right? The long position from down here and now holding that short position from this POC. And you might ask yourself, Frankie, I thought you don't like taking trades in the middle of a range, and you would be 100% correct there. But the reason I was willing to put in a little bit of a head short position here is, number one, if you pull your Fibonacci retracement from this high that we made here, the last significant swing high on the 25th, right, basically Christmas, and then you pull it to your all-time low here, or not all-time low, but your local low here, you can see your golden pocket and your 786 is sitting here. 786 coming in at about $98,000, $98.49 to be exact. But if we are going to continue the downtrend locally here, and we're going to put in a local lower high and continue breaking structure to the downside, this is going to be, honestly, really between the golden pocket and the 786, although we are now kind of bouncing off the golden pocket. So really the POC up to the 786, we know the high likelihood area to put a potential lower high in at is going to be between the golden pocket and the 786. Now, this is a local Fibonacci retracement, right? So there are other bigger retracements that I'm going to get into for the longer term that we'll take a look at those in just a second. But if we look at this, right, there is a potential possibility. We don't know if we're going to put in a lower high here and continue the downtrend, or if we're going to get a little bit more of a pump to the upside before potentially putting in that lower high on a higher level and then continuing the overall trend. But because we have the golden pocket 786 here in confluence, not only with the POC, weekly naked point of control, anchor VWAP, right, but if I hide this local range and we pull up our all-time kind of macro range here, the main range, right? You can see this is also the POC of all of this price action going all the way back to about November 11th, right? So this POC is a very, very strong level, right? Not only locally, right? That local context is just what I look for to find the trades, but from a longer term perspective here, right? Like this POC 786 golden pocket is a massive, massive level to get above, right? Because again, if we're going to put in that local lower high and break structure to the downside, potentially coming down to 90,500, which is really the next key level to the downside, or even potentially lower, we're going to take a look at those lower targets in a minute. But this could be that area to put in a lower high. So I did take that stab. Obviously, just showed it on that short position here from the POC. We'll see what happens. I do have a pretty tight stop loss on this. I got a decent entry here, so my stop loss is just above this high. So if price decides to come on up, break through this, right, and flip this 786 to support, I will stop out for a very small loss on that short position, and our long position from down here will continue to pay us out. And that is simply, guys, the local context that I am looking at, right? Again, for the most part, Bitcoin's kind of been going sideways here, right? Like even locally here in our smaller range, but even in the grand scheme of things, Bitcoin's kind of just been ranging around, deviation above the high, back down to the value area low, or at least close to the value area low, and now we're kind of just ranging around sideways here. And that is how we are making money, just trading this local chop. Just because the market's choppy, just because we haven't gotten any massive moves does not mean that we can't make any money. That's the beautiful thing about being a trader, guys. Even if price goes down, we could capitalize on that. It's a beautiful thing. I was saying to the premium Discord earlier today, like that is the absolute beauty of being a trader, right? We're not a slave to the bull market. We're not a slave to price going up, right? All we need are the candles to move up and down, and that's how we make our money. We just need the volatility, which is absolutely beautiful. But let's go ahead and continue on. So again, major context remains exactly the same. We're essentially just seeing what we wanted to play out yesterday play out, right? We got above the value area low. We're now sitting at the POC. I'm going to get rid of this Fibonacci retracement just to clean things up. So at this point, if we could get back above this POC, I will stop out of the short position. The long will continue to pay us out. And once we come up here and play with this value area high, it's a little bit of a sticky situation. And I'll get into it a little bit more. Actually, we'll do it right now, right? So if I hide this local range, let me go. I'll get rid of this purple box. We'll hide the weekly naked point of control. We'll hide the anchored VWAP. Now, really, the most important level on the chart right now, in order to see more upside for Bitcoin, if we see this continuation up, now, is this likely? Well, I'll be honest with you. 4-hour money flow was another thing we were looking at yesterday. This 4-hour money flow has now crossed over into the green. Money flow indicates the longer-term trend. We all know this, right? We go over this almost every day on the live stream. If this money flow continues into the green, right? Maybe we get a 4-hour red dot. Maybe we get a little bit of a retracement. That short position continues to pay us out. But if this money flow stays in the green here, guys, we could potentially anticipate this trend to continue up. Now, other than the local levels that we just looked at on this local range, right? Value area high, 98,684, right? If we're going to see that continuation up, a very, very, very important level of resistance is simply going to be up here on this golden pocket 786 retracement. The reason that this is such a key level, guys, is because this is the full Fibonacci retracement from the all-time high all the way down to the current low. So if we're going to see this continued journey up, right, again, maybe we cool off here off that 4-hour red dot. VWAP is coming down here on the 4 hour, so once we print that red dot, I'm naturally going to go down to the 15-minute. You can see 15-minute money flow is also coming out. This is part of what was making us look for the short position that we took here in the premium Discord as a hedge. This money flow is coming out. If that 4-hour red dot does wind up printing and this money flow continues out and crosses over into the red, we could potentially anticipate at least a continuation locally to the downside here. But in the grand scheme of things, as long as we can hold higher lows, that money flow, VWAP would come down, right? We get the red dot. Maybe we get a little continuation. But if that VWAP comes up and this money flow stays in the green, we could anticipate the overall trend to continue to the upside, right? Doesn't mean you can't come down at all, but you're going to anticipate the trend, right? Not the green and red dots indicate the ebbs and the flows, right? Typically, it's like green dot, red dot, 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 right? But overall, the money flow is what indicates the overall trend. So if we see this 4-hour money flow continue into the green, we could very easily see the continuation of this trend, right? Maybe pull back, come up, and then this would be a massive, massive higher time frame target, in my opinion. And at this point, this is the most important level for Bitcoin. 104,000. And I actually didn't show this on the market update earlier today. I was only looking at local levels on the update earlier, but $104,779. This is that 786 Fibonacci retracement. And in my opinion, if we were to work our way all the way up here and flip this level to support, that is really where I would anticipate a continuation to the upside. In that case, you know, once we flip above the 786, we're thinking like, hey, this might have been the low. I also somewhat like, at least for the bullish case here, guys, 4-hour money flow in the green. I also do like the fact that we did come down here and sweep these lows, right? It's nice that we've come and cleaned out these lows before getting this next push to the upside. So again, if we continue up locally, our local targets to the upside, next closest local target, 98,750. Once we get above that, we can really start to wiggle our way back up to some of these higher targets between the golden pocket starting at 101,889, all the way up to the 786 at about 104,779. And then this 786 is really the deciding factor, in my opinion, if we're going to see a real continuation up. Because really, just looking at the charts, this is the last chance. This is the last chance that Bitcoin will have to put in a lower high, right? Because once you start breaking above the 786, that kind of invalidates the idea of putting in that lower high on that retracement level. But we do have to be careful up here, right? I would expect at least some kind of a stall out in this zone if we did make it up there, right? But and again, this is somewhat dangerous, right? This is kind of the most critical level because if we're going to put in some bearish confirmations here, that would indicate that maybe that's a macro lower high, and then we could potentially continue down to some of those lower targets. So that's kind of what I would be looking at, assuming the 4-hour money flow stays in the green here, and this is not the actual top before we make a local lower high. So there's really two lower highs that we're looking at, and they all come in on Fibonacci retracements, guys. This one is pulled from the high to the low, and then our next one, the local one that we're kind of hitting right now, is coming in from the high that we made here on December 25th all the way to the current low, right? So if we're looking for a downtrend to continue, right, and we're going to continue to see the price just dump here, right, the highest likelihood areas to put in those lower highs is either going to be here, in my opinion, right, and then if we get above those levels and we keep pumping, this is going to be that next major level. We don't know for a fact whether we're going to come down from here or we're going to go up for the higher retracement and come down from here, right? And then, you know, once we get up here, we have to reassess the situation because obviously there's no guarantee just because there's a Fibonacci retracement here that we have to put in a lower high. And that's what makes this 786 an absolutely key level, right? It's not just like, hey, like that's a really big level of resistance. It actually invalidates the idea of a lower high coming in, right? So those are really the two big zones. And I'll just give you this as like even numbers to look at if you're not looking to day trade those local levels that we just went over. 98,119 roughly down to about 96,552. That is the first zone where we can put in the lower high. And then typically when we have Fibonacci retracements give us this big of a zone, I do typically look at this as two kind of separate areas, right? I'll take a stab at the golden pocket if I get confirmations. If we don't get the confirmations there, I'll look again at the 786. But this overall zone is really sitting between about 101,846 to 104,823. And in my opinion, very simply put, with as little TA as I could put up on the screen here, just based off Fibonacci retracements, this is key resistance number one. Not only the Fibonacci retracement, but also the macro POC of the range, right? And then let's hide that again. If we do continue up, I would look for a move back into these bigger zones here, where we our second area to look for that big rejection. Now, obviously, we do have some local levels between that. You have another local golden pocket value area high sitting up here on the macro value area high, closer to 100,800. We looked at this level just before, but this is an assess the situation as price approaches the level kind of thing for me right now. So again, I really just oftentimes will start off on the lower time frames, right? So like right now, for the most part, I am just looking at price in terms of this local range, right? I'm just looking for this scalp long to potentially push us up to the value area high if we can get above the POC, right? And then once we start breaking out of here, that's where I turn off that local range, and then I turn on the larger range and say, okay, where's that next milestone in the grand scheme of things? Well, hey, we're starting to break out of this local range. We're above that 786. I think there's a good chance we push into this next resistance zone, which is technically, this is the additional resistance zone sitting between 99,329 and $100,800. And then once we start breaking above there, that's where we could target the higher prices. But I'm going to approach that or assess that situation as price action develops. Right now, the major roadblock that we have is going to be this zone that we're tapping right now. And again, you know, obviously, I will update you guys if we see something crazy happen. But the POC Golden Pocket 786 anchored VWAP right here is huge, huge resistance, especially with the addition of that weekly naked point of control. We got to get above this zone. If we can't get above this zone, we may wind up getting that rejection. And you guys know, as long as we remain below this POC, the doorway to the value area low is going to be open. And that is sitting at about 90,500 to 90,400. And with all that complicated TA out of the way here, guys, we are simply trading this range until it breaks up or until it breaks down. Let's see. Shout out to Crypto Billy. Says point of control. Shout out to Crypto Billy. Guys, we got the Aztec and Cactus Moss Water on deck tonight. You guys are crazy. I can't even read that chat. Let's see. Let's see. Oh my God, what is going on in chat right now? What are you guys talking about? Talking about plugs and stuff. Fartcoin is ripping too. Still hot trash. Shout out to I'm My Hero. Let's see. Al Jr. shouting out. It says Jesse and Darren working out as I learn here. Let's go. Shout out to Al Jr. Are you at the gym, bro? Listening to the live stream? That is some savage. Not determination. Dedication is what I was looking for. All right, let's see. Shout out to Morpheus says, POC point of control. Can you share your fib configurations? Yes, very simply put. Actually, if you check the beginner series on the channel, it's a playlist on the channel. I do have a beginner series video talking about how I not only my settings on the Fibonacci retracement, but how I actually use these to find lower highs, like I was just looking at. Like I show you exactly how I find this zone here, why it's such a key level of resistance, even here. Now the thing with Fibonacci's is that you could pull it from many different places, right? So it is a little bit hard. I don't want to say hard, but it is a little bit, there's more nuance to it, finding the real key zones that you're looking for. Like this is a local Fibonacci pulled from this little lower high all the way to the low, but that major Fibonacci retracement that I was looking at is pulled from the all-time high, right? So like this would obviously be the strongest golden pocket. Like if I were to look at this as just like a naked chart, let me see if I could pull this up, right? If I were looking at this as a naked chart, if I pull up the, let's pull up like a 4-hour, right? I would say to myself, well, hey, if we get a full fib retracement here on the 786 golden pocket, I would pull it from the absolute high to the absolute low. But the problem here as a trader is that we don't necessarily know if we're going to get lucky enough to get that full retracement to come in. Oftentimes what will happen is you will get rejections on, especially when you're in a trend like this, you will get lower highs to come in on local Fibonacci retracements, but you're still just pulling it from swing high to swing low. But it is a little nuanced here because it's like you could pull it from here, you could pull it from here, You could pull it from, well, I wouldn't pull it from here, but you could pull it from here, right? So there's many different fibs that you can pull, but for me, these are the most significant ones, right? Our local one that we're hitting right now, because we could put that lower high in and break structure to the downside once again. That would continue our downtrend here. But once we crack that 786, I would really look for that full golden pocket 786 retracement. We have those intermediary levels, and it's really hard to say, right? Like, I can't guarantee that we're definitely going to come up to that full extension. And that's why I always bring up these additional local fibs, because again, guys, trading really is all about setting your trap and looking for confirmations, right? So, you could pull a local fib, right? Like maybe you want to pull it from this high, right? Or let's just say this one that we're hitting right now, right? Like I would always look at this as a key level of resistance, like we have on the market updates. If you've been watching the channel, we've been waiting for this level to get hit, right? And the only reason I took a short here, I'll spill some sauce for you guys. The reason I took the short here was because we were looking for some confirmations, and we got those confirmations. One, kind of what I was looking for were bearish divergences starting on the 1 hour time frame. And what happens here, right? We have the price action making higher highs, right? Or actually, I guess technically pulled from here, right? Price action's making higher highs. Whether you pull it to the wicks or the bodies, you have higher highs coming in on your price with lower highs on your momentum waves. This is a simple bearish divergence. This is usually one of the first confirmations that I look for. I like to have other stuff in play as well, other confirmations in play as well. The more confirmations, the better. But really what I look for first is bearish divergences, at least in the case of a rejection to the downside, right? So we have the 1 hour bear div now confirmed. We also saw some low time frame bearish divergence, higher highs on your price action, right? Lower highs on your momentum waves. So you start to see like, hey, price action is creeping its way up, but the momentum is coming out. What does that mean, right? Like there's a discrepancy there. Kind of doesn't make sense that price is continuing up, and that's what calls for the correction, right? If we did not see, there were other things we were looking for as well, but if we did not see these confirmations, I would probably say to myself, well, hey, in the grand scheme of things, there's really no reason to take a short here, right? So what would I do? I would simply wait for the next key levels to get hit, and if we keep pumping, I just wait for that next Fibonacci retracement. And that's why when you have multiple retracements set on your chart, you just wait for price to come in there. If you don't have the confirmations, you just sit on your hands. It's going to be more likely that price is going to push through that retracement and go to the next key level, which in my case, at least as of right now in this situation, very heavily based off Fibonacci retracements. And then you start to look for confluence, right? And again, if I pull up the other chart here, right? We have plenty of confluence in here. Anchored VWAP, 786, golden pocket, POC, weekly naked point of control. And, the areas with the most confluence, or the most levels of resistance kind of coming together in one zone, that kind of gives you a higher probability that you will see a strong reaction. So hopefully that makes sense. It's very hard to explain this stuff in kind of one shot. But if you check out that video, brother, you will get my Fibonacci settings, but for the most part, if I could just kind of break it down easily for you, I just have the 618, the 65, and the 786, right? So you could just make your settings look like this, and it should look very similar to what I have here. And if not, if you want more details on that, check out that video. I show you exactly how to set it up, as well as exactly how to use it to find these high probability areas. All right, let's see. Shout out to Frankie's new chair. Oh, God. Okay, hang on. Shout out to Frankie's new chair. Frankie's new chair says he ignores super chats just like he ignored me. See, Mafia? See what I'm saying? Shout out to Frankie's new chair. Hang on one second. Did I miss a super chat here? Oh, no, it's Frankie's new chair again. If you guys are new here and you don't know what we're talking about, I'm having relationship issues with my chair right now, and my new chair is waiting to get picked up by me, but I just haven't picked it up yet. And shout out to Golden. Hang on. Wait, so Frankie's new chair says, Dear Frankie, Golden came and picked me up. I never thought I would be a chair riding in a chair on a private jet. He really is a nice guy. Wishing you the best new year with your busted chair. Much love, Golden's new chair. Yo, shout out to Frankie's new chair. Actually, let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Oh, God. It's in the off topic. I think I saw it. Where is it? Guys, Golden literally picked up my new chair in a private jet. And I know that looks Photoshopped, guys. Trust me, it's not. I've gotten videos from Golden while he's in a private jet. It's pretty wild. I know you guys probably think we're joking about Golden flying around in a Golden private jet. It is true. I have video proof. I'm not going to show it here, but I can rest assured this man is actually flying on private jets. Absolutely insane. Golden, you're a legend. But I can't. Now I'm feeling a little jealous. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, it's not. You don't know what you had until it's gone. Unbelievable. Well, shout out to Golden and shout out to my new chair. I'm sure, Golden, you're giving him more private jet rides than he's ever had in his entire life. So shout out to Frankie's new chair and shout out to Golden, bro. You guys crack me up. Timothy says, Tima is looking bullish after long consolidation. Can cross all-time high of, I think that says 6.5 million or maybe 65 million. I can't really see it. 65 million within a day or two. Shout out to Timothy. Maybe we'll take a look at Tima in just a second. We will be taking a look at the altcoins as well, guys. But for the most part, guys, this is what I am looking at on Bitcoin. This is the next key zone of resistance. If we get above it, we're going to be looking to push up into our next zone, sitting between 99,329 and 100,799. And then once we get above that, we're into that final retracement level. And once we start cracking that 786, there is confluence up here. So just to be clear, like, this is an area where we were looking for shorts. I did take it. We just showed it, right? If we push up above here, I will be looking for shorts again. If we get confirmations, I will take a shot again. And then as we push up into these next zones, the next major zone is going to be that 786 weekly naked point of control, sitting closer to about 104.7, maybe 104.5, all the way up to about 105.4. So we'll keep an eye on this stuff. But just locally here, guys, this is the range. We're at the PLC, flip that, go to the high, and if we get rejected from here, and that short does wind up playing out, I'm going to be targeting about 90,500, where we have the value area low, 786, as well as a daily horizontal level. So that's what we're looking at, guys, and we are making money, bing-bonging this price up and down. I know it's choppy, but we are still cashing out here in the Candle Mafia. Tony D says, Frankie, new poll. Let's see here. Can Tony take off tomorrow to get Frank a new chair? Oh, wow. Overwhelmingly, yes, please. Shout out to Tony D. All right, guys, yeah, vote on that poll. I'm going to let you guys pick if Tony D gets off tomorrow, even though it technically wouldn't be off because he's getting me a chair. But, yeah, let me know. Let me know. Vote on that poll, and you guys will pick Tony's fate of tomorrow's workday. Shout out to Tony D. What a time to be alive. We're just letting the Candle Mafia decide our life decisions. Guys, we should just start doing that. Every Friday, you guys pick a life decision for me. Should I shave my head? We'll let you guys pick. I'm just kidding. I will never shave my head, guys. I have a weird-shaped head, and I would not look good bald. I actually think bald is cool. Like, I think when I see someone who's bald, I'm like, I feel like people are so conscious, like self-conscious of losing their hair. I think when most people look good bald. I think it looks cool. But for me personally, I have an alien-shaped head. I would not look good bald. Trust me. Maybe we'll do a Photoshop. Maybe we'll Photoshop it to tease it a little bit. Shout out to Tony. Said, choose wisely, Mafia. I'm itching to go to Micro Center. Yeah, Tony D is going to come back with a $15,000 PC. But hey, it's for the channel, right? It's for the channel. Tony works hard. Let's see. Egg-shaped head like me. Yeah, shout out to C7, bro. Yeah, I can't say I have a pretty head. I'm not going to lie. You know, I have hair and wear a hat for a reason. But it kind of stinks. If I go bald, it's going to be a difficult situation. I'm just going to have to wear hats the rest of my life because I will not look cool bald. I'll tell you that much right now. Let Tony get off. Yeah, shout out to Mars. Let's see. Yeah, we got 49% say yes. All right, let's see. Shout out to C7 said, hey, Frankie, I hope you're well, man. Could you please explain how you decide to keep the volume profiles? Sometimes you don't take it to the full length of the range, if that makes sense. C7, that is a great question, and I know exactly what you're asking, and I know exactly how I'm going to answer that question. Very simply put, a lot of the time, right, very, very often, what I do is I look for fair value in the market. Now, fair value comes in at areas where price is essentially ranging, right? So to kind of like clear this up for you, just a little bit of sauce for you guys. When we're looking at volume profiles, I pull my profiles, and this is how we're able to trade this so profitably, right? We find out where the fair value in the market is, right? And you can see fair value is pretty much where you're ranging, right? Every time you deviate below this level, the buyers say, hey, this is cheap Bitcoin. I'm going to buy it back into the range. And then when it comes out of the range, it's like, hey, this is a little bit expensive. And a simple kind of way to trade this is to think of it as overbought and oversold, right? You're overbought when you're above the value area high, and you're oversold when you're below the value area low. And this is what makes this such a high probability trading strategy. Now, you can't just trade based off this, obviously. You have to know what confirmations to look for, etc., which obviously we go over in the premium Discord. We have tutorials, free tutorials on the channel to help you out with that. But when you look at this, right, you're already looking for longs in an area that has a higher probability that price is going to get a bounce, right? Because you already know this is undervalued. Now, again, you have to keep an eye on things like money flow. You have to keep an eye on, many different things. I would not take a long here if I did not get confirmation. But by only looking for longs when price is considered undervalued and only looking for shorts when price is overvalued, you're already increasing the probability that the trade's going to play out in your favor, right? And even if it gets really volatile like it did here, right? We had the We entered the trade down here, the long position that I just showed. We got the push up. We got another push down. But what happened? We just wound up wiggling our way back into the value area and pushing up to the POC. It took a little while, but more often than not, you will see that happen. And that is the reliability of the volume profiles. Soon as you get above that value area low, the next likely place for price to go is going to be that POC. When you flip the POC, the next likely place for price to go is that value area high. And this is just statistically what we see happen. So when I pull my volume profiles, you will oftentimes see that it is only extended over previous price action. And the reason for that is that I am marking out what the previous fair value for the asset is, right? So this is considered fair value, right? And that's why I stop the range there. If I were to, for example, I'll use this range as an example here because this will help people learn, right? If you're out there and you want to learn how to trade and you actually want to apply this stuff, this is going to be very educational for you guys. If you want to pull your volume profile here, right? We have some sideways action, right? So we have some kind of fair value up here. Once price starts to impulse out of that range and come down, this is not balanced price, right? This is imbalanced price. Simply meaning, I don't want to talk over anybody's head with like trading jargon, right? I'm going to break this down as simply because understandable in normal people terms. This is imbalanced price, meaning that the sellers are outweighing the buyers, pushing price to the downside. When you have balance, the buyers and the sellers agree upon a price range, right? That is balanced price. But when you have imbalance and the sellers outweigh the buyers, price will trend down. This is balance. This is imbalance, right? So the reason that I would not extend my price, let's go ahead and say that, come into bar replay mode. The reason that I would not extend my volume profile over these candles is simply because this is not fair value, right? This is imbalance. Now, you could do this, and the levels that you get are likely to be respected. But the way I personally trade using the volume profiles is I like to find the fair value to find out where price is no longer in fair value so I could trade it back into the fair value as the fair value acts as a magnet for price. So as soon as you can kind of think of it as like, now obviously you have times where you'll just lose the fair value, which is obvious, right? But that's the reason I don't extend it over those candles, right? Because I'm just looking for the fair value. And when I see a range, that is fair value or balance, right? Same thing. This is imbalance. That's why I don't extend it over to the right. And again, these levels are based off volume. So if we came back up to this value area low, it's probably going to get respected, right? But the way I personally trade in my strategy is by trading fair value, right? So that's why I only stop the range here. Now, I will just take it one step further here. If we look at our overall larger range, let me clean up the chart here a little bit, right? If we look at our main range, this was a range that I was personally did not have extended all the way to the right. But you'll notice over the past couple of days or past week or so, I have extended this over to the right. Why is that, right? Well, the simple answer to that is we kind of found balance in here, right? It's not like, let me actually just, let me pull this to where I had it, right? So like I think originally the range was pulled something like this, right? But the reason I extended this over was because we weren't imbalancing out of the range, right? If price dumped out here, I would still keep this as the fair value. Right, but because price kind of just kept wiggling sideways, we're still finding balance within this range. So very simply put, I'm looking at this as pretty balanced price action. So I extended it all the way to the right. But as soon as this winds up impulsing up, right, whether this winds up impulsing up or impulsing down, right, I will keep this range here. If we broke out right here, I would keep this range pulled here because if we come back to the downside, I want to target the previous fair value, which was traded all in here before you had that imbalance, right? So I only want to highlight the balanced areas on price because that's the way I trade. So does that make sense? Might have been a little bit long-winded, but that is literally exactly how I handle things, right? Shout out to Mrs. Candles. That was a loud bang. I don't know if you guys heard that. I don't know what that was. But there you go. Hopefully that makes sense for you. Let's see. Shout out to I'm My Hero says maybe rename the title from Like Police to everyone. Not everyone cares for the police. Maybe like stripper. Everyone loves them. Shout out to Jesse. I'm gonna let you make that call, bro. Do you want to be a like stripper or a like police? I don't know. You let me know, bro. You let me know. Let's see. Yo, Frankie TA the heck out of BTC. Shout out to All Set. Let's go, baby. Now you guys should be all set with those key levels and what we're expecting next year on Bitcoin, guys. So there's a little bit of volume profile sauce for anybody new here in 2025. This is how we trade. This is how we find them. And again, like we could point to any one of my trades that I've taken recently and just put it in the perspective of a volume profile. We have balanced price here. So I stopped the profile here because what happened? We went ahead and we broke down out of this range, right? So this is no longer balanced. But when we're here undervalued, we are below a previous area of balance. This is an undervalued asset where we look for longs and we know, hey, you know, if you have money flow or something that would indicate you're getting a move up, right? Obviously, there's going to be more than one confirmation. But if price continues up, you're simply looking for price to gravitate to that fair value, flip that value area low to support, get sucked up towards that POC. It is the idea of auction market theory. Price is always seeking fair value. That's why this trading strategy works so well. Price ranges 80% of the time. It's in balance 80% of the time and imbalance the rest, right? So anytime you're imbalanced, you're either looking for price to return into your fair value above, right? And assuming, right, well, oftentimes you will have some kind of fair value from below, right? So for example, if I pull a little volume profile over this little range of price action, right, we ranged around here for a little bit. I can go ahead and extend these levels to the right. If price were to just continue imbalancing to the downside and we didn't get bullish confirmations to take this long position, we would simply look for price to get gravitated to the next previous area of fair value, which would be down here from this range, pulled from back here, right? And this is just how we predict price, right? Like a lot of people like, Frankie, we know you have a crystal ball, which I'm not going to, deny or confirm, but I'll just say these volume profiles do help a lot with the effectiveness of that crystal ball, guys. Wink, wink. But there you go. That's basically what we look at, and hopefully that explains to you guys why sometimes I extend price to the right, right? So, for example, if price were to get above this POC, come back up to the value area high, come back down, right, then maybe we can extend it to the right again because this is generally fair value. So hopefully that makes sense. Maybe I'll make a new tutorial on the volume profiles, drop a little bit of sauce on them. It's been a while since we've updated those volume profile tutorials. All right, so with that being said, guys, shout out to Salvatore, said, Frankie, why are you always so bearish at the lows? Shout out to Salvatore. I don't know what you mean by that. I am in a long position, literally, from the bottom here. So yeah, not bearish at the lows, bullish at the lows. That's another reason why the volume profiles help so much, right? You break down below the value area, everyone's like, oh my God, bear market, bear market. But what do we see? All we see is a deviation below the value area, undervalued asset. This is where we look for longs, not panic short at the lows. You look for long positions, and you simply ride that trade up into the value area low, look for it to ride to the POC, and then hopefully we can get that move up to the value area high. So shout out to Sal. I like to call him Sal. Shout out to you, bro. Definitely bullish at the lows, not bearish. So there you go. And let's see here. Bada boom. There's that long position, up $2,400. So we did make a bunch of money today. Shout out to Sal. But yeah, the volume profiles can totally help you understand the context of price, right? You're not saying, oh my God, we're going to zero, right? You want it mostly when people are getting super, super bearish. This is where you want to be looking for long positions. And in the grand scheme of things, let's go ahead and hide that local range, pull up the main range, right? Let's assume that the low is in here, which could be possible. Like I said, I did like that we came and take these lows, right? But if we were to break down or break up, right, to higher prices, let's say we go to 130K, whatever it is, we are literally long from the tippy bottom, right? So it is very important, right? And the volume profiles is literally what helps us identify where price, like we're not going to short Bitcoin as we're dumping down to this low, right? Oftentimes, the reason most retail gets wrecked, guys, is it's the same thing on the move to the upside, right? Our short here that we're still sitting in at 106K, that was my entry, right? The whole reason we were looking for the short here was simply because we were above our value area. Here's your fair value. You deviate above. This is an overvalued asset, even if you're going to continue up, right? It's very likely that if you get bearish confirmations that you could at least continue into the POC, if not, back down to the value area low. But this is where everybody gets super bullish. Everyone's like, oh my God, we're pumping. They see green candles. They think that means we're going to continue up. But what do we see, right? We simply see this as, hey, we're hitting resistance. We're getting bearish confirmations. Let's take a stab at a short. And now that short is up a few $1,000s, right? Same thing when you come back down to the lows. Everyone sees the red candles. They're getting super scared. Oh my God, what is going on here? Is this the bear market? Which is hilariously a question I actually do get here on the channel when we see these little pullbacks. People say, is this the bear market? And I'm like, guys, you gotta zoom out, right? Like we are very clearly in a massive bull market here. This is not scary at all. As a matter of fact, as you guys know, even if we were to see a bigger pullback, right, and we came down to $82,000 to $80,000, maybe even to 786 at around starting at about 77,000, where we have some naked points of controls, this still would not be bear market, in my opinion, right? We could easily come down there, put in a higher low, and then rip up to much higher prices. But the point remains the same. Everyone gets bullish on the green candles. We're looking for shorts. Everyone gets bearish. They think the bear market is in. We are looking for longs. Very oftentimes, you guys will see on this channel that I am very contrarian to what most people are looking at. And there's two reasons for that. Number one is that a lot of people will get bullish on green candles, and we know that typically, right, when everyone else gets super bullish, that's usually when we get a little turnaround, right, whether it's a short pullback before a continuation up or a massive dump. But another reason for that is shout out to Salvatore. I don't know why you think I'm bearish. Maybe because I said I took a short here. But you have to understand the context of the trades, right? The context here is this would be a hedge against my long position, right? In case this is key resistance, right? If we're going to see a bigger move down, I want to be able to capitalize on that. And that trade already is in profit, right? So just because I take a scalp short here does not mean that I'm bearish on Bitcoin going much, much lower. It is me taking a small stab at, if I get stopped out of this, I'll lose like $100, right? But this trade, this long position is already up almost $3,000, right? So it's a small risk to take to open up opportunity. If price goes down, I could continue to make money, right? So that's why people always say, are you bearish or bullish? It's not that simple. I think a lot of people, shout out to Salvatore. I'm not saying that you think this. You might be new to crypto. I'm not sure. Or maybe new to looking at the charts. Again, I'm not sure. I'm not trying to put that on you. But a lot of people will tune in and be like, while I'm looking at this low time frame, being like, hey, I took a short here. And people will be like, why are you bearish? We're in a bull market. And it's like, you have to understand the context, right? Like, I am holding longs, right? Long term, I am bullish on Bitcoin going into 2025, right? But you have to understand the context of the actual trades and the time frame that I'm taking these trades on, right? I would be happy to get a little bit of a retracement here, right? Even if we're going to continue up, get a little bit of a retracement, lock in some profits, and then if I get stopped out in profit, I make money on that move down, and then my long continues to pay me out, right? So it's very hard. People say, Frankie, are you bullish or bearish? I need a time frame over the next year, over the next 5 minutes, over the next 15 minutes, 2 hours. It's always going to be a different answer, right? Because when I took this trade up here, right, I was bearish as in the fact that I thought price would come down, which it did, but that doesn't mean I'm bearish on Bitcoin altogether. So hopefully that clears things up. So yeah, I have to be very, very transparent because of that, because I think people will be like, oh my God, he's bearish, he took a short. Understand, I'm bullish on Bitcoin here. I am in a long position, and with the 4-hour money flow crossing over into the green, I am hoping that the uptrend will continue, right? And maybe this short plays us out a little bit more, right? And then we can get that continuation up and let that long continue to play. So hopefully that makes clears things up for a lot of people. I know it gets very confusing. I can only imagine if someone tuned in here and they're like, wait, he's in a short and a long? Yes, we are in a short and a long at the same time. Both of those trades are in profit at the exact same time. It is possible. So yeah, there you go. Hopefully that clears things up. Oh, yo, shout out to Salvatore. Yeah, because of the 80K target. Yeah, shout out to Salvatore. I mean, listen, there's no guarantee we get down here. But here's the thing, right? Things change constantly. And the way I like to approach trading in general, right, is setting traps in the market, right? I always say this. It's not a game of hunting. It is a game of setting traps, right? Set your key levels, right? Confluent levels, not just willy-nilly levels. This isn't just a golden pocket. This is also 2 daily naked points of controls, right? So you have a lot of confluence down here. Now, this doesn't mean that we're guaranteed to get down here, right? But it's an if this, then that situation. So if we did come down here, I know that this is a very strong level of support, right? We have 2 daily naked points of controls. The bull market support band also comes up in here, right? It's impossible for us to know if we're going to come down here, right? It's very hard. We also have some support, before we even get down here. We could maybe get a move to this value area low and then send it to 150K. Nobody really knows, right? That's like a secret that I think not a lot of influencers will tell you. Nobody knows where the heck this thing is going. We could use the charts to find the highest probability outcomes. But yeah, like we have to have these lower targets on the chart. in case it happens, right? You can have a crazy dump overnight, and then you wake up and you're like, oh my God, what's happening? I always want the Mafia to have these key levels to understand, like, hey, if we get that big drop down, understand the context that even if that did wind up happening, this could just be a healthy pullback before sending it back up to higher prices. So it doesn't guarantee that we get down there, but we do want to have those levels on the chart, because if we do get down there, we want to be ready to potentially load up on some swing longs, right? So shout out to Salvatore. Hopefully that clears things up for you. It gets very, very confusing, right? It's like I always say, the hardest part of my job is like getting my point across in a black or white situation, right? As a trader, I am looking at all levels as opportunities to make money, right? Like, I'm not selling my spot bags at this level of resistance, right? But if I can capitalize on a little scalp short, I totally will. So hopefully that clears things up. But yeah, there you go. All right, let's continue on here. Shout out to Al Jr. said, look, man, that object tree video, sheesh, talk about good stuff. I didn't know where that was going. Shout out to Al Jr. It says, has helped me immensely. Object trees are nuts. Yeah, shout out to Al Jr. He's talking about this right here. The object tree is simply an area on TradingView that allows you to group up your analysis and put them into folders. That's how I organize all my TA, right? Want to see the daily naked points of controls? We turn them on and off. I want to see the main range. I can look at the charts in the context of the main range. If I want to take a look at those local levels, I can take a look at the local levels, so on and so forth, right? So yeah, shout out to Al Jr. If you guys want to check that out, it's in the beginner series. It is the TradingView Masterclass. Will help you save a lot of time in your analysis. I can promise you that. All right, let's see. Let's see. Shout out to Mark Dojo. You guys are crazy, man. Let's see. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue on here. I kind of already went over the lower targets, right? Like, as of right now, 4-hour money flow crossing over into the green. So at this point, right, like, as long as we remain in this volume profile, I'm going to be looking for key support at the value area low. If we get above the POC, key resistance at the value area high. Very simply put. It's not until we start losing this value area low and this daily horizontal underneath us that I would even have in the cards that we're going down to 80K, right? Not saying we're going down there right now. It's an if this, then that statement. If we come down, we have plenty of room to get bounces on the value area low, 786. I know it's hard to see that 786, but we also have a daily horizontal down here and even one down here at about $87,347. So until we start like losing this level, that's where I would probably anticipate the golden pocket coming in. But until then, we're just simply within our volume profile, giving us nice peace of mind into where price is going to go next. And even if we did get the drop to the value area low, we get a drop down there, you already got support, right? So chances are you'll have some time to get some bounces in here. Maybe price hangs up on that level, giving you some time to assess the situation and decide what you want to do with your next move. Let's see. C7 said you wouldn't consider a short on the liquidity at $100,000. Yeah, for sure, right? Like anytime, it really depends, right? So $100,000, yeah, 100%. Like the way I would view this is you have this wick right here. Maybe let me see if I can pull up the heat maps really quick. To be quite honest with you guys, High Block Capital has been, I don't know if it's like my VPNs or what it is, but it's been very, very laggy lately. It's been like super slow to update. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It might be because I'm on a VPN. I'm trying to load them up here. But regardless of if we have the visible liquidity above $100,000, I'll see if these can load up. But the way I would look at this, right, like again, I am always viewing price in terms of volume profiles, right? So like if we did come up here, right, get above the value area high, right? This is, again, what? Right? This is an overvalued asset, right? Fair value, overvalued, undervalued, right? So once you're up in this area, this is where I am always searching for short positions within the context of these profiles, right? So if specifically for liquidity, what I like to see is an SFP, right? Very simply put, I like to see a swing failure pattern, a wick above the level, a wick back down, and a closure of that candle below the wick. If I were to get something like this, maybe even have some bearish divergences on top of that, that would kind of, that would be such a nice confirmation. It's like oftentimes what I like to see. Bearish divergence with an SFP at the top is kind of the chef's kiss setup, to be honest with you. This is very often what I like to see when we're, looking to, take a high and continue down. It's pretty much what we wound up seeing right here, right? What happened up here? Very simply put, you didn't really get the SFP, at least on the 1 hour, but you have bearish divergences, higher highs on your price, lower highs on your momentum, money flow coming out. Oftentimes when you see a situation like this, you will get an SFP of the previous high, right? So if I see a bearish divergence and then I get an SFP here as well, whoo-hoo, baby, those setups are absolutely fire. Kind of similar to what happened right here. You had a wick, right? You come in, higher highs on price to your wicks, lower highs on your momentum waves. This is sauce. This is like low-key sauce. Simple sauce. Bear div, higher highs, lower highs, with an SFP of that wick, boom, you come down. Now, again, context is king, right? Obviously, this is a high probability trade to get a move to the downside. Now, wasn't a huge dump, right? But obviously, you had money flow coming up here. You know, you always have to identify the context of what you're trading, right? But just very simply, bear divs with an SFP to finish it off is a very, very high probability setup, in my opinion, even if it's just a little drop to the downside. Very quickly, you very barely have to endure drawdown on those SFPs, right? Because you sweep the liquidity, and then you get almost an instant drop to the downside. You're like almost instantly in profit. And then again, with the SFPs, you know, your stop loss is just so well defined, which is basically just putting the stop loss above that wick high, right? Because once price breaks that wick, you're going to anticipate price to continue to the upside. So it gives you a very high probability setup with also having a very good risk to reward. So there you go. Like I could get stopped out of 100 of these positions before it starts eating up my account. And you only really need one to play out in order to give you the big move. And if I come up to a higher time frame, it'll probably, yeah. Like you can see on a higher time frame, like the 4 hour, this was simply an SFP of that high. So, very simply put, same thing. If I saw price coming up to the value area high here, right? This is sauce, low key. A lot of people charge for this, right? You get a deviation above this value area. I'm already looking at prices overvalued, and if I could get some bearish divergences in here with an SFP of the highs, that's where I would look for a short back into the range to the POC and the value area low. Maybe some other confirmations as well. But if I for 100%, if we came up here to about 100 grand, right, and we have some liquidity sitting up here by looking at the heat maps, I would especially if you got the SFP, I would totally be open C7 to a short position from there. Shout out to you, bro. That's a nice snipe. But yeah, let me see if I can get these dang heat maps working, guys. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm going to have to see if we can fix that. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know if it's a problem on their end or if it's my VPN. Shout out to C7 said, you're simply amazing. The best TA. Shout out to C7. Bro, you're the one that pointed that out, bro. I'm going to tell you, you have amazing TA, bro. You kind of just picked my brain there, bro. Like, that's like what I would look for. Right? And it's very hard, right? Because I could look for a short here. I could look for a short here. Like, there's so many trades you could look for. But for me personally, if I was looking for 100K, bro, you nailed it. That's what I'd be looking for. Especially in the context of this volume profile. It just gives you even more confidence to potentially take that trade. Now, if we came up there and we did an SFP and we just kind of took, because you have to understand, guys, when you have liquidity sitting above a level, again, people charge for this. When you have liquidity, just simply meaning, I'm going to break it down. Liquidity is not hard to understand. Liquidity, when I refer to liquidity, I'm simply referring to liquidation levels and stop losses. The reason these are important is because when you get stopped out or liquidated out of a short position in this case, right? I know this is redundant for a lot of people who tune in a lot, but this is like one of the most helpful things I could teach people when they're new to the charts. When you have people who are maybe short from this level, right? Their stop losses, right? Or even if you're short here, right? If I were to short back down to this value area low, my stop loss would go above this high. Right? If I were to enter a short, right here, right? My stop loss is probably going to go above that high, right? So all these people shorting here, you have to understand there's probably a ton of stop losses up here, which means if price reapproaches that level and you start to break into those stop losses, that's where you see that cascade effect of a green candle. Because when you get stopped out or liquidated out of a short position, it creates a market buy. That's what a liquidation wick is. That's what a short squeeze is, right? It's all those people getting stopped out and liquidated, adding all that market buy pressure to the market. So that is where we can look for all those stop losses to get hit. You get that big liquidation wick, and then oftentimes what happens there is that will push price up into a large limit order, right? A large limit sell order. And once price pushes into that order, this large whale up here will absorb all those orders and push price back to the downside. And that's essentially what we see when we have a swing failure pattern, right? So that's the thought process of kind of what we see there. So when you understand that you might have a lot of liquidity in an area, that's always what I'm going to be looking for. And then again, in terms of the volume profile, you just know this is overvalued. You got some entry confirmations up here, and you get back into the range, back to the POC, back to the low. That's how I would view that. So shout out to C7, bro. Great work. I would 100% agree with everything you said. He said, my man, if you see my trading view, I am Frankie's copy paste. Shout out to C7. Let's go, baby. I love it. That's why I'm here, man. That's why I'm here. Shout out to Chemistry, bro. Said they got to buy back what they borrowed to open the store. Yeah, shout out to Chemistry, bro. Absolutely. And good to see you, bro. Hope you're doing well. And happy 2025. I don't think I saw you yet, bro, in 2025. I hope you're doing well, bro. Let's see. Yeah, shout out to SA. Said, have you check the stock market? So, guys, that's what I'm looking at right here on Bitcoin. We'll wrap up Bitcoin. We'll move on to the I'll take a look at the stock market, and we'll take a look at some of the altcoins. But just locally, this is our range, right? Very simply put. And then you hide this, we have our larger range, and those are all the key levels. If you're just tuning in and you want all the sauce, just scrub back to the beginning of the stream. You'll know exactly how I'm handling this price action. But let's go ahead and move on to the SPY, guys. We'll take a look at the stock market. And she's getting a little bit of correction. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Let's go 125K. Shout out to Maso. Yeah. And again, just for anyone tuning in, like I'm in a scalp short right now, but I am bullish on Bitcoin. Going into 2025, I'm going to shoot a video tomorrow explaining exactly why. I know the Fed said they're not going to, cut interest rates as aggressively as they thought, but they may just not have a choice, guys. So just keep that in mind. And I'll talk about, the exact targets that I'm looking at. We'll talk about them tomorrow. Okay, so taking a look here at the stock market, guys, I will be honest. I'm going to hide those little things at the bottom here. So, yeah, listen, obviously and it is crazy because I do feel a big disconnect in crypto right now. I think there's a lot of people who are super bullish and a lot of people who are just like, no way, the stock market's correcting. Things are bearish. They're not raising interest rates. So things are really split right now, to be honest. Usually, like, we have all the masses calling for upside or all the masses calling for downside. Right now, I do see a little bit of a split. However, obviously, the Bitcoin continuing to run into 2025, guys, is going to, in my opinion, be dependent on the monetary policy. The looser monetary policy will give the room for the risk on assets like crypto to run. If we don't see that, right, that will be a condition that has been met in every other bull market, right? So if we don't get that, it's likely going to affect this bull market, right? So, if we don't get those conditions met, like Bitcoin is probably not going to run like we expected. But I wouldn't expect it to be much different than any of the previous cycles. Sure, can we get some spooks? Can we get some, freak outs, some fear in the market, one last shakeout type thing potentially? But for the most part, we are kind of right on track here. And I don't want to go into the whole video I'm doing tomorrow because I don't want to ruin it because we'll talk about everything in the pre-recorded video, well thought out. But just to give you guys like a little peace of mind here, if you're really worried about Bitcoin, let me see if I can pull up the cycle chart real quick. So if we just come on over here, guys, just real quick, come on over to the weekly time frame. Based off the 4-year cycle, right? Again, understand that the 4-year cycle, in my opinion, really hasn't proved itself just yet. I know all these cycles are very similar. However, in order for the 4-year cycle to solidify it as a super, super significant catalyst, right? Obviously causes a supply shock. All that makes sense. I get that 100%. But if you put this up against the stock market, like it basically just tracks traditional finance, right? Which makes a lot of sense. But due to based off the 4-year cycle, we see, very rarely do we see the top come in, right, at $108,000, like which would be this case, right? This doesn't typically come in on the year of the halving, right? Typically, the year after the halving, we do have a nice little run. And you can see here, all the way coming back to 2012, you have the halving come in. The all-time high comes in at about 364 days after the halving. 2017, halving happens. Top comes in about 525 days after the halving. 2021, the halving happens. The first top comes in at 336 days after the halving, which in my opinion was the top of the bull market. And then the second top, the actual numerical all-time high, came in at 532 days. Aren't these numbers a little bit suspiciously similar, right? So we could say, based off that information, typically we see the tops come in between, say, 336 or 300, about 360 and 525 days after the halving, right? Give or take a few days. And the fact that this was, I would even argue, maybe even hide this one, right? It is just interesting, right? Because that first top came in 336 days. So what can we take from this? Well, we could potentially say, hey, if it takes us around 335 days after the halving to put in the real top, when could we potentially see a top? I don't know, maybe March, April, something around there, right, of 2025, which would indicate that if we track on the previous cycles, we do have more upside to come. Now, does this mean that this can't be the top and we're definitely not going to zero? Like, sure, anything can happen, right? But based off the 4-year cycles and assuming that the monetary policy stays in the conditions that we need to see the risk on assets run and the stock market doesn't go to zero, right? There's no crazy black swan event. We are kind of right on track here, right? We are kind of right on track. Even if you come down to 2021, right? Or 2020, right? The halving comes in at 2020, right? The new year happens, 2021. We had a little bit of a pullback, right? This was pretty much right where we potentially put the top in that we're at right now, right? You get a little bit of a pullback. Everyone's super scared. But what happens? We run up to make a new all-time high, right? And it comes in 336 days after the halving, right? So just a quick little thing here, right? Like based off the 4-year cycle, we do potentially have a lot more upside to come, right? And again, I know the Fed said they're not going to cut interest rates as aggressively. I'm not a macroeconomist. I'm not going to sit up here and pretend I'm an expert on this stuff, but it's not that cut and dry, right? Like they could be forced to cut rates more aggressively. So I'll get into that in tomorrow's video, but just to kind of point that out, as far as the stock market goes here, obviously we have seen, the stock market's been, we pulled back, we got a little bounce, we got another move down. This was actually, I believe, if you pull from the high to the low, 786 golden pocket retracement. We know that's where high likelihood lower highs come in before continuing down, and we did wick just below this low. So I can let me try to find some key levels here on the stock market for you guys, just in case we do see a continued dip here. I would say, let me pull some fibs here. See, pull it from here. Yeah, so your golden 786, I would mark out some of these levels on the stock market or SPY specifically here. 576.82, this would be a let me just make sure that's accurate. Boom, 576.73, right? So if we lose this golden pocket, we could get a more of a significant correction down here, and maybe we do get that, right? Like it's not impossible. But just hide these levels real quick. That wouldn't necessarily mean the top is in. It's very hard to say, right? Like I am not as much of a stock trader as I am a crypto trader. Stocks do move a lot different than crypto. And to be honest, like even Market Cipher B will react much differently to crypto than it does on the stock market. But just using like traditional TA, looking at volume profiles here, golden pocket 786 sitting at 576.73 would be a significant level of support. And even if, see here. Yeah, I mean, that's probably the next level I would look at. If we see more downside, closing this week off with another red day in the stock market, this would be a key level of support to hold, in my opinion. But again, it's hard to say, right? Like, in my opinion, it's very hard to call the top on things. I know a lot of people are thinking that there's not going to be more upside for the stock market. They think the top is in. It's really hard to say right now. This is a pretty nice correction, but, everybody thinks the top is in when you're pulling back. The hysteria starts. Everyone's scared. Everyone's like, oh, my God, the top is in. We're going to zero. But this would just, for me, I'm a level-to-level trader, right? So, 576.73 would be the next level I'd be looking at on the SPY. We'll see if we wind up hitting that or if we hold this golden pocket as support to get another retracement. Now, what I will say is if you pull from the high to the low here, I will say, like, the key level to get above in order to invalidate that this is going to continue a downtrend is going to be about 603.01. This is absolutely key. We must break this level, right? Like once you get above this, that would invalidate the idea of the lower high coming in, right? So if we get the bounce there, I would look to get above that 786, and then in my opinion, that's going to be good news, right? But we'll see what happens. Those are the biggest key levels. 576.73 to the downside, 603.01 to the upside, at least locally. That's what I'll be looking at on the stock market. See if I can, and like even if we come here and we take a look at the volume profile, right? This isn't necessarily where I get super bearish on things, right? This is the value area low of the range. Bada boom. Right? There's your value area low. Sure, can you deviate below these levels? Absolutely. But at that point, that would be somewhat of a deviation below your fair value. Right? So that would be kind of where I'd be looking for long positions. Not that I'm taking longs on the SPY, but, just from a perspective of volume profiles, we are down at support. I'm not getting overly bearish at support. Even if we break down a little bit more, you have that 786 coming in right here. Right? So you do have support here. We'll see what happens. But there you go. All right, let's go ahead and continue on here, guys. I want to take a look at some of the altcoins. We'll start off here with Ethereum. Shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. I think he's still here. Oh, yeah, there he is. He said, have you hit the like button yet? No? Why not? It's free, and you help out the channel a lot, like really a lot. So don't be a chump and hit that thumb. Shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. Yes, that is the easiest and most free way that you guys can help with the channel. It helps a lot more than you think. Let's see. Shout out to Dave Digital, said long the SPY for funsies. Let's go. Random 100x long on the SPY, guys. But anyway, let's just swim with the whale. Shout out to Maso, baby. Let's go. Shout out to C7, said I've been trying to contact Tony D on Discord for so long. Please get him to respond. Shout out to C7 at Tony D. See if you can find C7's DM and answer him maybe right now, and we can find out what it's about. And we'll leak the conversation publicly. I'm just kidding. Anyway, let's continue on. Shout out to K Diggity, said, that's exactly why I always hit the like button before we got a stripper. Shout out to K Diggity. Said, now I have even more reasons. Shout out to K Diggity. Smash that like button, guys. Do we have our lower third? Does our lower third work here? There it is. Support the channel. Smash that like button. Tony said, C7, where you at? But let's go ahead and continue on here, guys. Taking a look at Ethereum, which, to be quite honest with you, not too much exciting stuff here on ETH as far as kind of price action. We're kind of just ranging sideways, very similar to Bitcoin. So these major levels remain exactly the same. Now, actually, what I want to do here is I want to start off on Market Cipher because if we take a look at the 2-day here, we are potentially looking to print a green dot. I will say this, guys, even on Bitcoin, if we're going to see the continuation up on Bitcoin, green dot on the 2-day may be the thing to give us the next move up. And again, on Bitcoin, what does that look like? Maybe a move into 100K, maybe a move into 104, etc. Again, if you missed that TA, go back to the beginning of the stream. We go over all of it. But 2-day, same thing on ETH, right? That green dot could be something to give us a bigger move to the upside. And that is kind of the major thing that I would be looking at. However, as far as key levels, in my opinion, right, what do we have here? This weekly naked point of control is tapped, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. You can see it did hold as strong support, but I'm going to get rid of it. But just from a TA standpoint here, we're within the value area. Major volume profiles coming in from over here in March, starting in March of 2024, February of 2024. Value area low at about $3,000. This is an absolutely critical level of support. This is a huge level on ETH, guys. If we see $3,000 on ETH, I will be looking for new long positions. POC comes in at about 3502. Value area high comes in at 3710. This is the exact range that and again, just talking about the rotation of value here. We had our lower volume profile. When we were bing-bonging around here, we said, hey, if we get imbalance to the upside, where is price likely to go next? We talk about this before it happens, when it happens, and then after it happens to show you guys how reliable it can be. If we get imbalance to the upside, we look for price to gravitate to our next area of balance. Price is gravitated towards these areas. Price is always seeking fair value. Fair value sits inside the volume profile. If we get imbalance, price is naturally going to seek out previous areas of fair value. Once you flip that level of the value area low to support, you could get accepted into the range, go up to the POC, which was sitting right here, and then once you flip that POC, you look to go to the high. Once you deviate above the high, this is now overvalued. This is where you look for shorts. This is where everybody calls for ETH to 20K. But what do we see? We see bearish confirmations, and we know once we get below that value area low, we're going to get gravitated towards that POC of the range, which did indeed wind up happening. You get inside the range, bearish retest, right down to the POC, and we even got a quick drop. But as long as you remain below this POC, guys, these volume profile levels are absolutely valid, right? We need to get above. Let me redraw the POC real quick. Right, we have to get above this POC. This is the key level, right? If we want to see that value area high again, we have to break that POC. But right now, ignoring Market Cipher B, again, we have that 2-day green dot looking to potentially print, and we know if it gives us a move up, if we get above that POC, we could look to come into the value area high, which has a lot of confluence up here. We break above that, we could look at the 786, which also has confluence, right? So those are the next two zones to the upside. Let's say that 2-day green dot prints, value area high at about 37.15. This zone here, I would call it between 36.79 up to about 37.69 is the first zone of resistance. If we get above that, your next zone is sitting right here between 39.55 and 38.82. Now, if you break that 786, right, that is where, and get above this daily naked point of control, that's where I would anticipate another breakout to higher prices. How high could we go? Well, locally, I would look for a move up to about $4,400 to $4,500, right? Because at that time, if we break out of the POC, break out of the value area, flip that 786. At the same time, we're potentially getting accepted back into that previous area of balance. And we treat this upper value area would be treated just the same as this value area, right? Hey, we bing bong around here. If we get imbalance, we look to get sucked into our larger range, right? Maybe we bing bong around. If we get imbalance out of here, we look to get sucked up into our larger range. And it's the same thing. If we get up in here and we start deviating above, this could be an area where we look for shorts to come back into the range. It doesn't mean we're bearish on Ethereum. It just means that as you're overvalued here, you could look for scalps back into the range, right? Because that's just how price moves. So I don't want to get too into the upper prices yet. But as long as you remain below this POC at $34.97, $3,500 almost exactly, chances are we could potentially get gravitated towards this next level. But this would be bullish, right? This is a very strong level of support, and I would be open to longs down here, right? And I'll even get rid of this daily. We're holding this. Well, actually, I'll leave this. I'm gonna label this as a tap daily. But we are holding this as perfectly as we possibly can, right? Like, we're clinging onto this for dear life. So again, the if this then that is, we got to get above the POC. If we do, we're looking up towards this next zone, right? If we can't get above the POC and we lose this daily, I'm simply looking down here. And I don't trade in the middle of a range very often, right? I am in a short in the middle of Bitcoin's range, but again, that is specifically because of the Fibonacci retracement and the opportunity we have to make a lower high. In certain situations, I will short the middle of a range or long the middle of a range, but more often than not, I sit on my hands until I hit the higher probability levels, right? The higher probability area to enter a short would be up at the highs, and the higher probability area to enter a long would be here down at the lows. And I simply sit on my hands. You could set your alerts and then maybe do something else other than look at charts, which I never do. But, you know, you could just sit here and be like, oh, I got my alert. Ethereum's at $3,000. Everyone's probably panicking, but I'm going to come down here. I know I have a ton of support down here. I'm going to start looking for potential long positions, right? And then if that doesn't happen, we come up here. I would simply be sitting on my hands until one of these larger levels gets hit, and I would look for a new trade. But 2-day green dot is probably what I would look for to give us that bigger move to the upside. If not, you know, POC is the key level, $3,500. We got to flip that. If not, I'd be looking lower. So there you go. That's what we're looking at on Ethereum. Can we take a look at Peak? Shout out to Dot Kid. I'm surprised you're not asking to look at Dot. I'm just kidding. But let's take a quick look at Peak here. So on Peak, as you guys know, there's a little bit, or was a little bit lower market cap. What is it at now? Let me see if I can check that. Take a sip of that Aztecian Cactus Moss Water. Are we going too fast? Am I moving too fast, Mafia? Sometimes we break out the Aztecian Cactus Moss Water, and things get a little out of hand. We start to move a little too quick here. But let me see. Take a look at, what is Peak's market cap now? 440 million. Yeah, so it's still somewhat of a lower cap. You know, that's not like a micro cap, but as you guys know, this was released not too long ago, and I was dollar cost averaging in, as we talked about on the live stream, pretty much ever since this little pump here started dollar cost averaging in, dollar cost average, DCA. Believe I turned it off around here. My average entry price, I believe, is $27. So I think my average entry is like right here, and then we did wind up seeing this thing run. Got a little retracement into our key level of support, like literally almost to the dollar, guys, right into that blue box. Now, what was this blue box? It was a daily naked point of control, value area high, as well as a 786 Fibonacci retracement, right? And if I can go ahead and turn the 618 back on and the 65, the golden pocket, you guys can see, right? We came up, came into our value area, deviated, went back down to the bottom of the range, went for the golden pocket retracement, couldn't hold it, and what do? Once you lose that golden pocket, you're going to look down towards that 786, and obviously this was right before I went on my trip, a few days before I went on my trip, but this was our key level of support to the downside. 786, daily naked point of control, value area high of the previous range is your key level of support. We wind up getting the bounce, get back above the golden pocket, and at that point, you look to get inside your value area. I mean, it's like crazy. You can't make this stuff up, guys. Like, you get above your value area. It's key resistance until proven otherwise. You get above it. You look for price to go to the POC and then the value area high, right? And even here, you deviate, you get sucked back into the range. So these key levels are pretty much the same on Peak, right? If we continue to bing bong around here, value area high at 69 cents, POC at 63 cents, value area low at 58 cents. So as long as we're within this range, I would treat this as a value area. If we continue to the upside and put in a new all-time high, I'd be looking up here at about 76.47 as your next target. Break above that, looking at about 84.90. So those are the targets to the upside until we break out of there. You know, I'm just going to be looking at this as a volume profile. Very simply put. take a look at the daily as we are trying to get more information on the charts. This is just released not too long ago, so there's not a ton of information here. We have the 8-hour money flow crossover into the green this looks very similar to Bitcoin, right? Fresh money flow crossover into the green on the 4-hour, right? So what does that mean? It means that if this stays in the green, we are looking at that as a filter. Money flow works as an amazing filter to identify the trend, right? Even here, you can see money flow is in the red. We come up, it crosses into the green, and what happens, right? You're looking at this and you're saying, hey, money flow crossover into the green. And you might be like, what the heck? Money flow crossed over into the green. Why is it coming down? Right? Well, money flow indicates the trend, right? Not the ebbs and the flows. So you'd be looking at this as, hey, trend is probably going to continue to the upside. And what happens, right? Trend continues, you get a little dip, and you continue your uptrend to higher prices, right? But that money flow is a beautiful indicator on whether you should be looking to long higher lows for continuations up, or if you should be looking for shorts on lower highs before continuations down. Money flow is a beautiful, beautiful filter for that. Right? Like even here, money flow was flowing out pretty aggressively here. So that would make you look for your Fibonacci retracements to put in lower highs and potentially continue down to lower prices, right? Now, depending on which Fibonacci you're looking at would depend on, the actual price action. But for the most part, if you were to pull from your high, I'm trying to see here. Yeah, money flow starts to come out here. Really depends on what you would be looking at, but, that's where, again, money flow starts coming out. This is where you're looking for higher likelihoods of lower highs to continue the trend to the downside, whether you're looking at that lower high, this lower high, or what have you. The money flow is that filter. This is indicating, hey, money flow is coming out. The trend is probably going to continue down. But that's what I'd be looking at on peak, looking somewhat similar to Bitcoin. So if that 4-hour money flow stays in the green, sure. Can we pull back? Potentially, right? Maybe we test the POC, but if that money flow stays in the green, I would anticipate the trend to continue up. And those are the targets that I would be looking at above. Much higher targets up here. Like our next major target for peak would be sitting right about here, right? Between about $1.19 to $1.26. And my bags are packed on peak all the way down here. Hopefully some of you guys were able to pick it up when we were as well. So shout out to anybody who's up in peak. Shout out to Mike Dutch from Traders Reality. He made a bag on peak. He was in here showing love. Crazy. Let's see. Peak LFG Easy 10X. Play along with Vapor on Hyperliquid. Shout out to Say It With Me, Sweet. Shout out to you, bro. Let's go. What do you think? What should we call the peaksters? What should we call the peak people? The peak posse? The peak people? The people of peak? I don't know. Let me know what we should call the peak community. Do they already have a community name? I don't know. Shout out to Dave Digital. You guys are kissing each other in the chat, guys. Listen, I don't judge. We like to be very lenient around here, but I'm gonna have to check with the higher ups if we could be kissing in chat. I don't know. I don't know if we could be kissing in chat. 2025 is off to a crazy start. I'm not gonna lie. Let's see. The Peakers. Shout out to Chemistry, bro. Is that a play on Beaker? Shout out to Chem, bro. If you know, you know. Let's see. Peak to the moon, baby. Let's go. You kissed me, Dave. You kissed me, Frankie. Rewind the tape. Shout out to Dave Digital. Oh, God. Shout out to Dave. I don't even know what that means. Market Cipher B? I don't know. Apparently, the peekaboos. Shout out to English B. English Bees says peekaboos. That's it. You guys are good. Those are good. Peaky Blinders. What does that even mean? Let's see. Shout out to Deb says Peaky Blinders. Let's see. Hi, Def said you could do whatever you want. All right, everybody kiss each other in the chat right now. Guys, this is good. Somebody's gonna clip this and be like, what the heck are they doing over there on the Frankie Candles YouTube channel? Everybody kiss each other in the chat. Anyway, let's continue on. That's peak. Let's take a quick look at Cardano here. Bada boom. Pepperoni peak. Shout out to Dave. AVAX, we can try to take a look at AVAX, no problemo. What is the money flow indicator you use called? Can you show it? Shout out to Wesley. I think that's what that says. Shout out to you, bro. This is Market Cipher B. Yeah, there you go. Market Cipher B. If you want to check it out, we do have a link in the description down below. It is a paid indicator. If you want to save. Oh, hi. Hey, come here, Mrs. Candles. Come on in here. What was that big banging noise? Okay, let's see this hand. Okay. I don't know if it's going to pump Bitcoin, but... Oh, I kissed her hand. Everybody's kissing each other today. Shout out to Mrs. Candle. Pineapple belongs on pizza. Shout out to Tyler Durden. I don't hate pineapple pizza. As a New Yorker, I'd probably get shunned out of New York for that. I don't hate pineapple on pizza. I don't get it often, but pineapple on pizza is not that bad. Tony D said, guys, no kissing in the chat. 6'4", by the way. Shout out to Tony. This is out of control. But let's take a look at Cardano. We'll take a look at AVAX. Shout out to Reptiles at BTC, please. If you scrub back to the beginning of the stream, we spent a good time on Bitcoin. So if you want all the analysis on Bitcoin, go check the beginning of the stream. We spend about, I think, 35, 40 minutes on it. Let's see. Say that in Italy, Frankie. You'll be hated. Yeah, shout out to Jesse. I know it's like it goes against my culture. Well, it's not that I really love pineapple on pizza. I just don't get why people freak out over it. Like, I don't think it's that gross of a like. I think there's weirder combinations out there, so I should clear that up. I don't like love pineapple on pizza, but like if someone gets Domino's and there's pineapple on the pizza, I'm not gonna eat it. But yeah, like a New York slice, which I did not have enough of over Christmas break. But yeah, I think pineapple pizza gets more hate than it deserves. Oh my God! Shout out to Toenail. Is that what that says? Toenail. I think, or maybe Tomail. It says Italians don't know how to make good pizza. Who makes good pizza then? Let me know, bro. Let me know. And Tony's not gonna like that. Tony's not gonna like that. You already started a thing. Says TVJ said I take that personally. Oh my God. Anyway, let's continue on here, guys. On Cardano, what are we looking at here? Very simply put, guys, I will say, a lot of these pullbacks on the altcoins. You know, again, I don't want to make it sound like, we're definitely off into new highs here just yet. But I will say, like, a lot of these pullbacks were not that bad, right? And, assuming, if the low is in here, this low came in at a very expected point of the 786 value area high, right? And I believe we even covered this on the live stream, right? Like, when you start looking at these golden pocket, you even have a larger golden pocket sitting in here. When you look at the local fib levels, you have your 786 sitting here, value area high. If we were to pull back, this is a great level to bounce off of. And now we are potentially looking to get accepted back into this value area low, which, in all realness, guys, simply put, right? You have your 786 sitting down here. You're inside. You go from the value area low. You flip it to support. You go to your POC. You get the rejection. You hold the low. This is pretty much a deviation below your volume profile. And then what happens here, you actually have some daily bullish divergences down there. Yeah, I mean, maybe even higher time. Yeah, 16-hour bull div, lower lows on your price action, higher lows on your momentum waves, right? And you get a bounce back into your range. This is your key level, 89.99, 89.94, right? Your value area low, doorway to higher prices. Now that we're back above this, if we could hold above this level, guys, we could potentially look to come back into that value, the POC of the range, right? And again, in hindsight, that's pretty much just a deviation below the low. Everyone thinks it's the bear market, right? But again, hopefully I can speak some, ease your minds a little bit. When you see, right, this is why, being in crypto for a long time, I might be just a little bit jaded because I've been doing this for a long time. But every time there's a little pullback in a bull market, everyone's like, oh my God, bear market. You have to understand, right, if you're new here, and hopefully I could save you a little bit of turmoil because I don't want the mafia out there struggling in the noise of a bull market. It is the noisiest time in the market. You have everybody thinks they're a genius. They know exactly where the market's going to go. That's when you have to be the most careful and the most level-headed, right? Think of last cycle. Everybody was calling for 100K. What happened? We didn't even get close, right? 69K. I guess, almost 3/4 of the way there. But everyone's, oh my God, super cycle, 100K, right? And then what happens? We just absolutely nuke. So, it's the noisiest point of the market. And I don't want the mafia to get caught up in that. When you get the pulls to the downside in the bull market, everyone's like, oh my God, bear market, right? And it's not my opinion, right? Like people are asking, oh my God, my altcoins are getting crushed. Is this the bear market? Which is crazy to even think. But when you get a 314% pump on something, I had to try to talk, a lot of new people would come in here and be like, oh my God, it's over. Why are you bullish, right? And at the end of the day, right, 300% pump with a 42% dump is not crazy, right? Like you can't just go up like this forever. You have to get these retracements. Now again, does this mean that the bottom is in and we're definitely going much higher? Maybe not, but you have the context of the volume profile to kind of help you out here. Value area low, Sitting at 89.94 is the key level to stay above. If we're able to hold support here, we could potentially get a move up to the POC. And just to give you another little context here, we could pull this balanced area, right? This value area. You have lows, highs, right? So I'm going to pull that volume profile. And you can look at this as local context, right? So, and let me actually just go ahead and hide some of this other stuff, right? I'll even hide the fib retracement, right? Grab that horizontal ray, value area low, POC. I don't know why my voice sounds so weird. Does my voice sound weird, guys? Feels weird. I feel like I have to clear my throat, but I can't. Anyway, so you can look at it in this context here, right? Value area low locally. Even come down to a lower time frame. You can see how valid these levels are, right? So this would be the local levels I would watch. Pulled on the 1 hour here. Let me adjust it, right? These would be the local levels I would look at on Cardano, right? Very simply put, very similar to Bitcoin, right? Like you kind of just deviate below the low. As long as we're able to hold above this value area low, we could potentially get accepted into the range and start a trend up towards that POC, which is sitting at $1.07, right? So these are the local levels, value area low at 95 cents, POC at 107, value area high at 116. This is the context I would be looking at. Now, doesn't mean that you just want to instantly long here, right? If we take a look at some of the higher time frames, let's take a look, right? 4 hour money flow crossing over into the green, right? So if that money flow stays in the green, you can anticipate the trend to continue up, right? Again, targeting that 107 POC. Let's check the 8 hour. 8 hour VWAP coming down, money flow kind of flat, a little hard to take anything away from there. Daily green dot is confirmed. 2-day green dot is confirmed. Yeah, 3-day VWAP coming up. I will say this 3-day doesn't look too shabby. To be quite honest, let me just pull these extensions real quick. I will say this. Yeah, like this 3-day low-key with the money flow coming up, this doesn't look bad. Like if we get this 3-day green dot, whether, maybe get some short-term noise in here, but once that 3-day green dot prints, I can't unsee this. It looks like Market Cipher B might want to create a bearish divergence, which we're going to use in this case to call for a higher high, right? So if we're going to get that green dot and we're going to print a bearish divergence, it would have to give us a higher high on price, which could bring us up to about $1.45, between $1.45 and $1.56, right? So that would be trying to use that bearish divergence as a front run. You're using a bearish you're using the front run of a bearish signal to predict a bullish move, which is kind of like TA inception. So hopefully that doesn't confuse anybody. But that 3-day doesn't look bad. It does look, especially with that money flow ticking up here. Yeah, VWAP coming up on the 4-day. Doesn't look too shabby. Could potentially give you that bear div, which would call for a break of these highs. And if I pull up, let me just see if we have any confluence here. Yeah, I mean, your POC is like confluent with these levels, and then, not too much confluence on these. But, yeah, I would potentially look at that 3-day green dot as the potential signal to give us a much bigger move up. But locally, this is the range I'd be looking at. Stay above this value area low. You may be able to wiggle yourself up to that $1.07 POC. All right, let's see. Shout out to Dwayne, said, just blew my mind. Shout out to my mom in the chat, guys. Mom, look at me. Mom, look at me. Look at me. She's probably like, oh, my God, my son's a psychopath. Ma, look at me. I'm on TV. Look, should I do the stanky leg for you, Ma? I'm on TV. I'm also not drinking energy drinks late, Mom. Don't yell at me. I'm going to get grounded, guys. I'm going to get grounded. Shout out to my mom. Show my mom some love in the chat, guys. Let's go. Let's see. Let's see here. Bada boom, bada bing. She is the creator of the sauce, guys. I'm just dishing out what my mother's been cooking my whole life. I'm just saying. And I did get to eat her sauce when I went home from New York, guys. It was the first good macaroni I've had in probably 2 years. I'm not going to lie. All right, let's see. Best son ever. Shout out to C7. Let's go. Guys, gas me up to my mother. Gas me up to my mom, guys. But anyway, guys, let's take a quick look at AVAX. Bada boom, bada bing. By the way, my mom does own crypto, guys. My mom's got some Ethereum. Can't let Mama Candles go without crypto. We're not leaving her behind in the bull run, guys. We got to bring you got to bring your mother with you. I'm Italian. I think I'm like by default I'm a mama's boy. I got to get her in crypto. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, let's see here. Yeah, so I mean for AVAX, I'll be honest with you. Let's see here, bada boom. I'm just gonna pull this rough volume profile. Actually, quick little check-in on Bitcoin here. What's going on here? What's going on? Oh, God, just going sideways here. Come on, Bitcoin. Like, guys, I swear. Look at this. Look at where we started going sideways, guys. Someone plots, I think Satoshi plots against this live stream. I'm not going to lie, right? We go live at 5:45. We go live, like, right here, and Bitcoin just goes sideways. Crazy. We're going to have to go live at random times to try to fake out Bitcoin so it does something during the live streams. But anyway, take a look at AVAX. Let's take a look here. So kind of similar to Cardano, right? I'm going to pull a couple of ranges here real quick. Let's pull bada boom. Bada bing. Okay, so this is the, there's a couple ranges we can look at, right? So I'll look at this one real quick, mark out the low, POC, value area high, right? So, excuse me, this is get above the low, flip it to support, to the POC, up to the value area high, deviation, back into the range, another deviation, back into the range, back to the POC. So this is definitely a valid volume profile to look at. And to be honest, I'm going to give you guys these key levels. 3153. If we, we've already gotten the full fill of the range, value area low, POC, value area high. We got the deviation. That's your overvalued asset. We've returned into the range, gone to the POC. Typically, you do see the full rotation back down. However, if we do see it, right, 3153 is your value area low. Do we have confluence with our golden pocket? Give it to me. Okay, not quite. You do have some kind of confluence here with your 786, though. So if we do come back down, I would look at the 786 value area low sitting between 3166 and 2946 as your key level of support. Now, technically we are holding the golden pocket. So these are really the key levels, right? POC, golden pocket, value area low 786. If we lose the golden pocket, we'll very naturally expect the value area low and the 786 to come in, right? So this would definitely be a valid volume profile. So those are the key levels below. Lose the golden pocket, go to the value area low 786, right? If I'm going to keep it here, right? Because I could probably pull this local range too, right? Which would kind of give you context into what you could expect if you get a move back up, right? Because you could see here, your value area low has been resistance. Hit your head on the value area low, hit your head on the value area low. Once you get back up, flip it to support, go to the POC, flip the POC, go to the value area high. But I don't want to add too many levels to confuse people, right? That's just another context to look at in the market in, right? But overall, it's kind of, you would expect the same thing based off this volume profile, right? If you hold the golden pocket, you would look to go back up to the value area high, which is very close to that last value area high you just pulled. But these are the major levels. These are high. This is a bigger range, right? This is a higher time frame zone. So those are definitely the key levels I would look at. Now, if we take a look at Market Cipher B, take a look at the three-day green dot looking to print. Very similar to Cardano, right? Like that 3-day green dot might be the thing to give us the bigger move up. And that's what I would watch, right? 2-day green dot is printing as well, right? So we'll see these high time frame green dots. If we're going to get a big move up, right? These are the things that, there's no better chance to do it than on these higher time frame green dots. But once we get up to that value area high, this is definitely going to be key resistance, right? Whoops. Turn that purple, right? So we get the move up. Right, and here, this would definitely be the key level to get above, right? Because if you want to put in a lower high, it's probably going to come in at this golden pocket 786. If we flip this to support, that's where I'd look for the bigger move up to our next value area low, sitting at 65.98. So very simply put, that is what we're looking at on AVAX. That's kind of a nice clean cut, and pretty much, yeah, that's some sauce right there. So there you go. That's what I'd be looking at on AVAX. Let's see. Shout out to my mom. Oh, God, my mom said he always does everything so fast. I told you guys. This is in my blood, guys. I'm from New York. It's like in the ATL, It's crazy. Like even in New York, like I used to work in New York City. I used to have to like walk. Everybody's walking fast in New York City, but I used to still just like have to walk in between people, be like, "Hey, I'm walking over here. Get out of my way." But in the ATL, let me tell you something, guys. You go to the grocery store. It ain't no hate. It's just different. It's just different than what I'm used to. Hi, sir. How you doing? Right? And then they put your groceries in the bag. Very good. How's your day going? And I'm just from New York, and I'm just like, just give me my groceries. I got stuff to do. I got charts to TA. I got trades to take. I got Mafia to talk to. Come on, just give me my groceries and get me out of here. And they're like, I hope you're having a blessed day. And I'm like, you're so nice. Thank you so much. But I am a New Yorker, and I have to go. I am sorry. I'm not trying to be rude. I just got stuff to do. I'm in a rush all the time. But shout out to the fellow New Yorkers out there and my mother. Let's see. My mom said, "Where's your chair?" We're gonna get a new chair soon, Ma. Don't worry. Now my mom's in on the new chair. Unbelievable. Answer your mother, Frankie. Where's the new chair, Mom? I swear the new chair's coming. I'm gonna have the new chair tomorrow, Mom. You guys are Mafia. You guys are gonna get me in trouble with my own mother. Shout out to the Mafia. I still love you. But anyway, there we go. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Tyler says, gotta go home for the gabagool. Yeah, we gotta go home for the gabagool. That's for sure. Probably the best. Yo, TDK, you're cracking me up, bro. But let's see. Shout out to Watch and Listen. I'm watching. Thank you for the super chat. And I'm listening. He says, chair, a real man flips a stool over and share. Oh, my God. Shout out to Watch and Listen. Oh, my God. Morally close my eyes. Oh, God. Shout out to Watch and Listen. Yo. Guys, this stream is completely unhinged. Unbelievable. I wouldn't have it any other way, guys. I wouldn't have it any other way. But let's go ahead and do one last check-in here on Bitcoin, guys. Let's see. Yeah, she's just still, let's see here. Yeah, still wiggling sideways. Could this be somewhat of a, I don't know. Is it a bear pennant? Is it a bullet? Is it an ascending triangle? It's kind of hard to say. Depends on how you draw it. But let's pull up the trades here real quick. So, yeah, literally in the exact same position as we started the stream. Up 300 on the short position, 2,400 on the long position, and obviously still holding my short over on Femex from $106,000. So that is still up massively. I don't think I'm logged in, though. But, yeah, we're basically in the same exact situation we were when we first started the dang stream, guys. Before we got unhinged, before we started talking about chairs. And, yeah, shout out to Tony. Tony, did you see that super chat, bro? Tony's going to lose it if he hasn't read that yet. But anyway, guys, I would skip the office chairs. They're on wheels. Shout out to Sheesh Josh. Says, can we check out Render? We can take a quick last-minute look at Render. This will be the last altcoin we look at. Shout out to Sheesh. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for the super chat. But let's take a look here. At Render, I believe we do have a Render chart here. Where is our Render chart? Is it the Binance chart? This has got to be it. Okay, yeah, here we go. Okay, so on Render, real quick. I'm going to do a quick and dirty on Render here. Let's see. All right, so take a look at the daily real quick, right? And just to kind of show what we have here, guys. Again, just a testament to the market, auction market theory. Fair value. Once you get imbalance on price, you look for price to gravitate towards the previous area of fair value, flip the value area low to support, move into the POC, wick, or you don't have to wick, but move into that value area high. You get the resistance on the value area high, back to the POC, back to the value area low, lose your range again. Where's price get gravitated to? Right back down towards that previous area of fair value, right, where you also had a golden pocket. But as of right now, on Render, actually, you would have to pull this up a bit more. So, yeah, we're holding the golden pocket. I will say this. This is kind of clean cut on Render. So, for Render, we're holding the golden pocket. It's kind of hard to say if you're definitely going to hold that golden pocket or not. But if you hold this, right, your goal here is to flip that doorway to higher prices to get a move into your POC, which is now confluent with the spider line. Flip above that spider line, POC, look for a move up to the value area high. Simply put, volume profile. This is an undervalued asset. Now, if we were to lose this golden pocket, very simply put, where would we look for price to go? It's the same thing. If we lose this value area low, price is very likely to seek out fair value. Where's the next area of fair value? Well, it starts right here at the value area high at 570. So, lose the value area low, you anticipate the previous area of balance. That would make me look down here to about 570. And if we lose the golden pocket, where would we look for price to go next? You would look for it to go down to the 786. Where's that 786? It's in perfect confluence with that value area high, right? So very simply put, if you can't get back above this value area low and flip it to support and you lose the golden pocket, I would look to come down here. So if you don't flip this to support, I would look for new long positions as we drop down to this 786 golden pocket. And to be quite honest with you, the breakout we had here was pretty aggressive, and we never retested that previous value area high. So not impossible to come back down here and revisit the scene of the crime. That's what I'd be looking at on render. 2-day green dot is confirmed. 3-day green dot is looking to print. So I will say this 3-day money flow, if we can keep this rounded money flow on the 3-day, get that VWAP to continue up, give us a green dot. That 3-day money flow crossover, if we're going to see massive moves up here for render, that 3-day money flow crossover may be the thing to look at in order to anticipate a much bigger move to the upside and potentially new all-time highs. Major targets sitting up at about 1629, just to tease some of those much higher targets. So that's what I'd be looking at. 3-day money flow might be the thing to give you the bigger move up. And you can even see here, last time we had that 3-day money flow crossover, it gave us a pretty massive move. Let me measure that. Of about 520%, starting that uptrend. We had little pullbacks, but that trend continued to the upside. So that 3-day money flow crossover into the green, if we can get it, if we can get above that value area low, get the 3-day money flow crossover, I would anticipate the trend to continue to the upside in potentially a very, very big way. So with all that being said, guys, I think that's all the time we got for tonight's live stream. We got pretty unhinged tonight, starting off 2025 with a bang. But I appreciate everybody for sticking around and hanging out here. Shout out to Senza, says, I feel super bearish. Oh, no. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens here. But you guys now know. Shout out to Wesley, said, I haven't caught up on your more recent videos, but do you think BTC pulls back to the 80-ish K range? Alts will follow or take off on their own. Frankenashi Candles is the man, by the way. Shout out to Wesley. Yeah, I am going to break down. I'm going to shoot a video tomorrow on my 2025 predictions. Now, listen, it depends. If we pull back down to 80K, oftentimes when Bitcoin comes up and consolidates or even pulls back, that is typically where we see the alts start to run. It really depends on what Bitcoin dominance is doing. But it really depends. We'll have to assess the situation when we get there. If we pull down to 80K, I do think the alts are likely to follow, to be quite honest. Hopefully we don't see that. Hopefully that we just get alt season to happen and Bitcoin pulls back and the alts just run. But for me, 80K is not totally out of the question. I'm not necessarily anticipating it right this second. If you missed the analysis on Bitcoin, go ahead and scrub to the beginning of this live stream and get all the sauce. But yeah, I will be updating you guys more on what I'm expecting in 2025 in the video I shoot tomorrow. Probably going to upload it either tomorrow or maybe even for some Sunday sauce. So with all that being said, thank you all for being here and sticking around till the end of the stream. I will see you guys tomorrow, same place, same time, right here, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Smash that like button on your way out. Show Mama Candles some love on the way out. Drop those candles in the chat, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. That's all I got. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Coach, what's next for me, Joe? I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Spit shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, so nobody's into me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
No, I don't think they're really I think it's no, Mom. It's a chat. They're not actually all in the same room. Right. No, yes. So there's not like a big room where everyone. Yeah, they're not actually kissing each other. Yeah. No. Still weird. Okay. Yeah, but. Hello? Yikes. Oh, hey. Hey, what's up, guys? Listen, my mom thinks I'm weird now because I told everybody to kiss each other. I don't even know what the heck is going on, guys. Happy 2025 for the second day in a row. We're starting off with a bang. Pray for Bitcoin. Hopefully this thing just goes up, guys. I don't want it to go down again, but I'll see you guys tomorrow, same place, same time. I got to call my mom back. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah, you about to see me on demand like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the